evening, and welcome to the August 22nd, 2017 meeting of the Architectural Review Board. The Architectural Review Board is a 9-member board appointed by the City Council and served on a voluntary basis without compensation. Our procedure for conducting business is the petitioner for each item will be asked to come forward, state your name for the record, and present his or her request. The board will ask any questions they may have. Then anyone wishing to speak to the proposal will be asked to come forward and voice their opinions. Each side will have 10 minutes to speak. Once your request is heard and the board's decision is rendered, you may leave the meeting. However, if you have questions for staff, please wait until after the meeting is over to ask them, or you may contact staff at the office the following day. Once public testimony and discussion for a particular item has concluded, the members of the board will deliberate and will render its decision. Members with the personal or financial interest in any request are required to recuse themselves from voting. All decisions by the Architectural Review Board are final. Any aggrieved parties may appeal a decision to the Board of City Council within 15 days. Petitioners may also appeal the board's decision to the Circuit Court within 30 days of the meeting. We have 7 members present. It takes 5 votes to pass a motion. Because of the number of the board members present, if you would like to delay your request, please let us know at the time your request is announced. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce the members of the Architectural Review Board. Ms. Elizabeth Brown, Mr. Barrett Penny, Reverend Willie Welch, Mr. John Hayden, Mr. John Foshin, Mrs. Katie Williams, and yours truly, Walter Bush. Planning Control staff, Christy Anderson, Paula Richardson, Russell Stringer, and Robert Smith. We do have a quorum, and at this time I will ask, have the members had a chance to review the minutes of the last meeting? Okay, are there any corrections or any deletions or additions? Okay, with that being said, the meeting notes will stand approved. Okay, we have one more that's entering, Mr. David Payne, so we can put him on record as well. Okay, our first presenter, Earl Fisher. The request for approval of a front yard picket fence for the property located at 641 East Fairview Avenue, Old Cloverdale. You may come to the podium and present your request.
Yes, sir. My name is Earl Fisher. I'm a general contractor. My customer would like to put in a 3-foot tall picket fence, 30 feet down one side of the front of his yard. It'll be mixed in with some bushes, be stained brown color, same as the house, barely noticeable.
Okay. Board has any requests or any comments on the matter? Anyone from the floor? Do you have any comments per this request? Chair, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the submission as submitted.
Second.
We have a request that was presented, that was moved and properly second. Are there any unreadness on this matter? Any unreadness? Any unreadness? All in favor of this matter? All opposed? All abstained? Okay. Your project has been approved.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck. Our next presenter, Katie Williams. Request for approval of a tree removal and rear brick wall for the property located at 820 East Fairview, Cloverdale, Idlewild. You may present your project.
Hey, I'm Katie Williams. I'm here for the owner of 820 East Fairview Avenue that would like to remove an existing wooden fence and replace it with a wooden fence with brick piers intermittently and also remove one tree and replace it with one of Mr. Stringer's choice.
Okay. Board has any comments for this matter?
The brick piers are put around the existing tree, so it's farther apart, so it stays away from the roots as much as possible.
Yeah, that existing tree would, I mean, you couldn't put
The
it in.
existing tree to remain.
You need to remove one because
There's
it's already,
there's two big trees on that side.
Yeah.
One we're keeping, and one we'd like to remove because it is a water oak, is that correct? And they have a shorter life expectancy than the other oak, and it's about there. If you look, the canopy is not there. It's got a lot of holes in its
it's on
in
its
its
way out,
trunk.
Mr. Stringer. Yeah.
so it's at least 70 years old. But the life expectancy is around 70 years old.
And Mr. Stringer, do you have any more additional comments on that?
My only comment was on a replacement, which was an oak tree for an oak tree would be a good replacement.
Okay. All right.
The owner would be happy to work with you on location and type of tree.
Okay. Any further comments from the board? Any further comments? Any comments from the floor?
I'm Charlie Colvin with the Cloverdale Idlewild Association, the CIA, and we have no objection to this project, and we wish them well.
Thank you. Any additional comments from the floor? Chair, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the project as submitted.
A motion has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any unreadiness? Any unreadiness? Any unreadiness? All in favor of the project? All opposed? Project has been approved. Good luck. Our next presenter, Billy Guyette, request for approval after the fact of window replacement for the property located at 1612 Madison Avenue, Capitol Heights.
Mr. Chair,
It's in violation.
I didn't have my microphone on. I just wanted to state for the record that Williams was a recusal on the previous,
Pardon me?
that Katie Williams
Yes,
was
yes.
a recusal because it wasn't in the vote count.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, you may present your request.
How's it going, everybody?
Could you announce your name?
Oh yeah, my bad. My name is Billy Guyette. I own the property at 1612 Madison Avenue. I came here last month to seek counsel on some windows that I installed that were not period correct. The windows are on the screen right now. And anyway, I'm not asking you guys to approve of the windows. You guys have already let me know that they're the wrong windows. So I know that I made a mistake. Once again, I'm just kind of echoing what I said last time, that those are not period correct windows. And I'm not in denial, and I know that you guys do not approve of them. So I do apologize for them. I have installed all of them. It cost me about $16,000. That's material and install. I had 3 different options when it came to replacing the windows. Like with anything in construction, you can choose economy, mid-grade, or premium. My bad. Sorry. Our premium windows. I chose premium windows. These are the best windows that you can get, and they are the wrong design. They're 4/4 and not 6/6. So I'm not asking you guys to approve of it. Only just to let me just to let this one slide. And I hate using terms like that. If you guys will humor me for a few minutes, do I have 10 minutes or? I'm probably about 9.5 now, 8.5.
I'm timing it.
All right. First of all, I brought my daughter with me today. Her name is Scarlett. We named her before we found out she had red hair, but her name is Scarlett. Anyway, I said that because this property is under an LLC. It's not in my name. The name of the LLC is Scarlet Properties. Eventually, any property that I have will go to my children, will go to my progeny. When I bought this house, I wanted to build it right, and we did save this house. This house will be passed down to her, so I am doing it with a long term in mind. I'm not just trying to slap paint on it and throw some tenants in there. I did make a mistake. I really don't know what else to say. I know that they're not period correct. I know they're not, but it's been done. Something else too that I wanted to talk about is, the last meeting I kind of told you guys what our family does and stuff. And we own the duplex next door, and we're gonna reduce the duplex into a single family home. Nobody else in Capitol Heights. I think Christy and Rich are doing something similar, but you don't get that from a lot of investors. We really do care. We're going to reduce it from 2 units to 1 unit, and we had one on Pennsylvania Avenue that I think is also in the historic district, I'm not sure. But it was a 3 unit that we reduced to 2 units. We really do care about the neighborhood, and as far as I know, my brother Jonathan and I are the only millennials in Capitol Heights putting this kind of money in Capitol Heights. All of our friends, your Chase Fishers, your Ben Blanchards, your Johnny Verises, they would advise against putting money in Capitol Heights. But we believe in Capitol Heights. I made a mistake. But I just want you guys to see the bigger picture. And I know that you don't approve of these windows, but just understand that I was trying to do the right thing. And this property will be passed down to my daughter, Scarlett. And, I messed up. So I don't know what else to say. I'm apologetic, remorseful. This house was on the brink of being raised by the city. I saved it. It sat on the market for a solid year. Any one of you could have saved the house. Nobody did. I saved the house. And I just want you guys to think, is the house better or worse for me being the steward of it? Is it better that I bought it, or is it worse that I bought it? I think the city was going to raise it, and I think that it's better. So that's it.
I would like to mention to the board that let it slide is not an option in your motion making. Either the windows are appropriate or they're not. So that's what's before you.
Clarification, the cost of things is not in our jurisdiction either.
Correct.
Any comments from the board? Any further comments?
I can tell you though that a stock wood window, true divided light from Marshall Lumber is about $330 for a sash kit. If you care about that. Because I bought several. 9/1s.
Well, are these sashes, are these muttons able to be removed and replaced with some other spaced muttons? In the Enviro Guard makes a good window.
My understanding is that there is a spacer bar in the glass, at least according to Warner Mathis, and the order for your windows was that you'd have to break the seal on the window to alter the mutton bar on these windows.
Are there any examples of a 4x4 windows in Capitol Heights?
Not in the immediate vicinity. 6/1, 4/1 are more common. 9/1 are more common than 4/4.
But within the purview of the Capitol Heights Historic District, there are 4/4s.
I don't know that there are.
There's a few of them, but you guys are right. They're not period correct. There's several 4/1s, but they're, I'm wrong. I'm not trying to argue.
The duplex y'all have next door has 6/1
Yeah.
and maybe some 4/1s.
Everybody on this board appreciates what you do in the neighborhood, but the fact remains is that these are not the appropriate windows for the building, and we have an obligation to treat everybody fairly, whether we like them or not. And to let you get by with this when I can remember people that have not been as charming or done as much for a neighborhood as you have done similar things, we've denied them. So it's really hard, if we're going to treat everybody the same, to treat you differently in this respect. It's not that we don't appreciate what you do. We do appreciate it, and appreciate Scarlett too. But it's in my opinion, not an appropriate window for this house.
Yes, ma'am.
Christie, he could appeal to the, if we say you got to move the windows, then he could appeal to city council?
He can appeal to city council for a procedural review. They can only determine if you have overstepped your authority and overstepped your boundaries in making a decision. To reverse the decision, he'd really need to file in circuit court.
And this is not easy for us, Billy, to understand. You said your big picture, and that's commendable. Our big picture, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, we're going to get someone else that's done something incorrect. They're going to come in here, and if we let one slide or two slide, they'll be out the door wanting to do things, which is the purpose of the historic society or historic districts, is not to let these things get out of hand.
I was under the impression that you guys viewed everything on a case-by-case basis. All I'm asking you guys is to be diplomatic about this and not be ideologues. I used the wrong terminology to let it slide. I apologize. I know that sets a precedent, but
I don't think you're the first person to say that, actually.
You're the only one call us old, though.
Well, the truth hurts sometimes.
This is the way that I see it. That this house. Let me. If you guys will give me 2 minutes, if you humor me for 2 minutes, I want to give kind of an analogy that I think will resonate with a lot of people in the historical neighborhoods. I know a lot of people like cats in the historic neighborhoods. I like cats. My mom likes cats. She doesn't really, but anyway, imagine that a cat is trapped in a sewer drainage. It's got its leg pinned somehow, and you've got all these people walking by the cat. Nobody. This cat's been abused his whole life. Just a feral wild cat. No one's ever given it any attention, any love. And everyone's walked past this cat. This cat is stuck in a sewer drain. It's flooding. The water's about to cover its head. Everyone walks past the cat, including you guys. I see the cat. I save the cat, but in so doing, I have to sever the cat's leg. I have to rip its leg off to get it unstuck from the sewer drainage. Once the leg is off and I take it to the doctor, I take it to the vet, I get a prosthetic leg put on the cat. We're arguing now over me putting the wrong type of prosthetic leg on the cat. The cat would have died without me. The house would have been razed without me. I saved the house. I saved the cat. We're arguing about windows. I care. We invest in the historic neighborhoods, not in spite of you guys, but because of you guys. We're working in conjunction with you guys. I messed up, but I don't have time to go through all of these municipal courts. I'll fight it to as far as I can. I'll take it to Todd Strange. I respect you guys. I shouldn't have used the term "let it slide." I saved the house. I did. Nobody else saved it. Everyone had an opportunity.
I would like to say that we looked at the house, and it was already under contract when we walked through it, because we looked at purchasing this house too.
Mr. Chair, it's time to wind this one up.
Sure. I agree. Any further comments from the board? Any comment from the floor?
So I'm going to ask one more time, are there other homes in the Capitol Heights Historic District that have 4/4 windows.
The question is really, are there other houses of this period with 4/4 windows?
What exactly is this period of asbestos
Late
siding?
1920s.
Asbestos siding on that house?
It's not
Yeah.
the original siding. It's not.
The original siding.
No, but tax records indicated it was built in the late 20s.
But asbestos siding was not put on that
1950s.
house. Yeah, that's right, it didn't come along until the 50s.
Nothing about this house is original. It's all been redone, and it burned. It would be an empty lot right now.
If I recall, when you came last time, the 6/6 windows were in the front face,
Yes, ma'am.
the existing ones, one was broken or whatever, and you'd replace the other 3 sides. And we discussed, being that the front face is the most important face for the streetscape, that the 6/6 might be an important feature for the house. That
Yes, ma'am.
the 4/4 may or may not be appropriate for the sides, but the front feature is what's important to the streetscape, which is Madison Avenue, a very prominent location on this, going down the street.
Yes, ma'am. The only thing was I had already purchased the windows in error. I admit that. These same windows were approved at my house in Cottage Hill. It was built in 1835. I mentioned that last time.
And the type of window, I don't believe the issue, it is the sash.
Yes, ma'am.
And sash
the
replacements
pattern.
are quite easy to come by. That these could be used on your house somewhere at some point.
One thing that I would consider doing as a compromise is I could maybe take the bottom 4. I'm looking at the pictures now. I could maybe take the bottom 4 panes off and have 4/1. I think that I could do that with minimal capital infusion. I'd be willing to try that. If
4/1's more common. All right. We've been at this, I think, long enough.
Okay.
I'll make a motion right now that we give.
Have we taken comments from the audience? Is there anyone here?
Yeah.
We haven't done it from the audience.
Okay.
Do we have any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? Okay. Chair, entertain a motion.
I'll move that if Mr. Gillette wants to see if he can get these 4/1, that we give him the opportunity. We come back next month. If you need more than that amount of time to do it, Billy, let us know. 2 months, 3 months. I know you're probably busy with other projects.
Would this be a clarification of a sash replacement of just the bottom to a single pane?
Be a 4/1 because 4/1, my understanding, is not an uncommon window, and it wouldn't be uncommon to this period of buildings.
Are you talking about,
the
John,
front.
on the front only, or on the front and other windows? as
I'm
well?
talking about them all. I think that was a problem. Because originally they were 6/6 in the front, correct? And you replaced that with a
It was
4/4.
all the way around.
It was the entire project had 6/6. When he came last
That's
time,
right.
he had already changed them out, except the front.
Billy, are those windows that I'm looking at going down the side of the house that are 6/6, are they existing windows?
no, sir, all the old windows have been removed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, those are existing, those ones.
Like a kitchen window.
The kitchen windows are still there, and they are original to the house as far as I know.
It really would be interesting to, no, I'm sorry, you got a motion on the floor. I'll second that motion.
Okay. Are there any unreadiness? Are there any unreadiness? Any unreadiness? All in favor of the motion? All opposed? All abstain? Okay. Motion did not pass.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that this house, to me, has long since not been a home that reflected its original architectural style. Its siding has been replaced. I find the windows on the front of the house very acceptable and would like to recommend that we let Mr. Guyette leave the windows in place as he installed them 4/4.
I'll second that.
Well, the motion that's been moved and properly seconded. Are there any unreadness? Any unreadness? Any unreadness? All in favor of that motion? All opposed? All abstain? Okay, still don't have an approval.
All right, hold on. The ones who voted for it were Boshi, Payne, and Welch. Thank you.
I have some updated pictures where I've painted the windows all historic colors and redone all the trim. I know that's, you guys don't care about any other.
Don't show them your pictures
If I may
because you
try a
painted a
third-
color that's not on the palette.
No, it is on the palette.
No, it's not.
Can I do?
Aurora Brown is on the palette. I looked it up.
It looks cranberry.
No, it's Aurora Brown. I got it from
Excuse me,
Sherwin-Williams.
excuse me.
Well, there was dialogue there. I didn't know.
Yeah, but let's,
So we do not have a
let's let it
motion.
be recognized.
That's a sidebar.
Okay.
As a third time, maybe the charm being the front is the main portion that I'm concerned with. That we say on the other three sides, he maintains the windows as is, but the front windows sash replacement to 6/6.
Second that motion.
We have a motion that's been moved and properly seconded. There any unreadness? Any unreadness? Any unreadness?
May I ask a question?
Okay,
Christie,
question.
have we done something like this before?
Only with Huntington College.
Okay. So was that the one on College Street?
Because they had already done work.
Okay.
It was the same kind of situation.
What was exactly the same kind of situation?
That
Just
they had
replace the
already
windows on the
started
front?
installing the windows. And I think they were changing, they'd started to change the configuration on the front because it had kind of it was an odd, like 12 or 16/1 window.
But you're saying we let them leave what they had on the sides and only
Yes.
replace what was on the front?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion that's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any unreadness? Any unreadness? Any unreadness? All in favor of that motion? All opposed? Okay, that motion has been approved. and passed.
I'm not really sure what.
I was going to ask, Billy, do you know we just, okay,
No.
all right.
6/6 on the
6
front.
Yeah.
Replace the front windows only, 6/6. And
Keep the rest.
the remaining windows on the sides, back can remain, 4/4.
Technically, it's a sash replacement to 6/6 from the 4/4 on just the front face only. The other three sides stay as they are.
You understand?
All right. Yes, sir.
Got it? Okay.
Well,
Got it?
And of course, you have the right to take this to municipal court and see how that turns out too.
correct.
What does that mean, taking it to municipal court? I'm not in court hearings a lot.
I'm not either. I'm not a lawyer, but maybe there's one up here that can tell you.
Well, again,
We
as
would,
it's fair, you can get
he
with
would go to
Christie.
circuit court
Yeah, you
to
can get
appeal
with-
the decision.
If what
We
I'm
would
trying
go-
to say in layman terms, if I don't comply, are you guys going to take me to jail? I mean, what?
We will take you to court.
Okay. And what does that mean exactly?
That
Then,
means
Costs
we will
more
ask
than
the
changing
judge.
4 windows out.
and then we'll make you take them all out.
We will ask the judge for you to replace the windows with matching windows, or to uphold the board's decision of the front 6/6 windows.
So you can just do the front of the house, or take your chances in court and have to do the whole house.
All right. I mean, I said I don't know what else to say. I feel let down. I do. I thought you guys were on my side,
We were.
and I appreciate y'all's wisdom, everybody's, including Christie's. I appreciate everybody here.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Thank you.
thank y'all.
At this point,
We have
Christie,
two
we have
advisories.
two advisories, and we can get back.
3141 LeBron Road. Could you come up?
Hello, my name is Dwight Olive, and I represent the property at 3141 LeBron Road. This house was a private sale. It was not sold through a realtor. However, we did not know the rules and regulations of the historical thing. We do now. The house stood an inspection and the garage for a termite infestation. The house passed. The garage did not.
I think you need to get a
Get
little
it?
closer to the.
Okay.
Thank you.
How about that? Anyway, we called in Mr. Earl Fisher, which is present here, to look at this garage. He looked at it, and it was in the proximity between $26,000 and $30,000, just about a complete rebuild. After that, the garage fell. Fell down. So we removed it. Again, not knowing that I needed to, say, take a permit out or whatever, you know, I had that done. And then after that, we hauled in gravel to put, the garage is an 18 by 24, and the driveway that we were trying to do when Christie got called out, what we're wanting to do is replace where the concrete is broken up and gone. The dimensions are 9 by 75. We only want to go up to the existing solid concrete, not all the way back. So we want to do right, and certainly would like to, we have them both fixed to be occupied. Got 2-year leases on them. They are duplexes, 3191 and 3141. One's a 2-1, one's a 1-1.
What he's asking for in this advisory review, because there's a pile of gravel in the driveway that no one can get around, is whether or not they can proceed and make official application. Well, I do have an application for next month to put the gravel in the location of the old garage and in the driveway where the concrete is broken.
Just for clarification, that garage fell with nobody's help other than the termites?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got that.
I mean, I don't have the termite report with me, but it was sad, and certainly Mr. Fisher is here. He could vouch.
Well, I live in the neighborhood, and I've seen a few, and I can tell just by, even without my glasses, looking at some of those timbers, yeah,
Yes, sir.
that was bad. And it's going to be a driveway, how wide? I'm sorry.
I'm saying it's 9 by 75. That's not all the way back to the end of the property. That's just to the existing solid concrete.
Well, I know there are some gravel drives elsewhere. I know there's one, I walk
Two next to this property.
Yeah, and I live on Maston. I walk down LeBron all the time. I
Yes,
know
sir.
there's one there. So, okay.
Yeah, I personally have no problem with this. I think it'd be great.
No, I don't have it.
Okay.
Any further comments from the board? Okay.
This is fine.
Okay. All right.
We need to do anything else? Motion?
Well, you can't take an official motion,
No.
but it looks like the feedback is
Positive from me.
with spreading it out.
Okay. Now, do I need to get a sign to put in front of this house? Are y'all approving this to finish what we almost got done?
You will have to come back next month because it's not an item of official business, just to make it official. And we'll post a sign in front of the building a week prior to September 26th.
See, I've got a tenant coming in the 26th.
No, I'm saying that the feedback was positive. I think
okay.
you can go ahead and make it accessible.
Okay.
We just have to make it official.
Okay, so don't do any spreading, just...
No, you can.
Okay.
I think, because
It was-
they're not going to turn it down
Ladies
next
and gentlemen,
month.
it was at 80% done.
Yeah, I think she's saying
Yeah,
it's
we-
okay to come after the fact next week.
I mean, we can't approve your project tonight because there is a time limit by law.
Yes, sir.
It has to be noticed for amount of time. This is an advisory that when you come back, we're not going to object to it. This will give you an opportunity to go out, finish spreading it, so your tenants can go ahead and take over.
Certainly. Okay. And
And then come back next month, we'll make it all legal.
Yeah, we're buying more property in that historical, so I
Call
think I'd
me
ask.
first.
Yes.
Please.
Yes. And we would like to purchase for this property, one of the historical signs, and I guess that would come through you.
I can email you that information.
Okay.
Yeah, but just don't deviate from what you explained to us.
Yes.
Sir?
But just don't deviate from what you explained to us.
Yes, sir. No, we're not putting gravel around the flower beds, no.
Or make
Just
it turn
make
around in the front yard. Don't do
No,
anything like that.
very neat and down the road, 2 inches thick, and that's it. Thank you very much.
We have one more. Is
One
that-
more,
One
Mr.
more.
Foshee.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Foshee, Foshee Architecture, representing Mr. Gary Blackman, owner of 21 South Court Street. Owner recently purchased the building. The roof, existing roof consisted of a hip roof with perimeter valleys, all sloping to each corner, and there was a internal roof drain in each corner. Roof's been leaking for quite some time. Sections of the interior of the building, including the floor joist, the whole front of the floor system and the roof system in the front of the building had deteriorated and collapsed. The adjacent neighbor was complaining about mold and mildew in their basement due to the water coming from this building seeping through their basement. Owners had a history, he's a local contractor, has had a history with, and some bad experience in the past with some low slope roofs and internal roof drains, so he wanted to install a single sloped roof sloping from the front to the back. In order to protect the building as much as possible, he wanted to leave the existing roof in place as he replaced and put a new roof on top, a new roof structure on top. So in doing so, he framed new parapet extensions and wanted to conceal the roof structure behind that. And then as he was doing so, he received notice from Ms. Christy Anderson saying that he was supposed to come for the ARB, and he just did not realize that this building was subject to the ARB review. So Foshee Architecture was asked to help with the owner through the process, and so we're requesting a advisory review. I've got some handouts for you. All right, quickly, the building is highlighted in red there, has a red box around it. In the first couple pictures, you can see the second floor clearly had 3 windows across the front. When you turn to page 3, going from 1880s roughly to the 1950s, all of a sudden it had a Palladian window in the center. So the facade was replaced at some point. And then if you keep flipping through, the facade was actually replaced in the 80s or 90s again, and it tried to match that 1950s Palladian window style. So this is the third facade that's on the building.
It was 1992. I found the plans
Oh,
in the
92?
file. Yeah.
Great.
It had a metal slip cover over the entire facade prior to that.
So the last 2 pictures are what it looks like today.
So it has, up above the cornice line, it had a parapet. It's just not as tall as this parapet.
That's correct. So the 1950s was, let's say, medium height. This is lower height, and now the owner has built one above the 1950s.
Kind of going retro. Going retro again.
That's right.
All right.
So to conceal this roof, he's got a parapet on the front and then parapets along the sides. The sides would be covered in metal panels, and the front he wants to cover in brick and try to match the brick. If he's not successful, he's open to painting the whole front facade to make sure it all matches. So we're looking for advisory review from y'all on any thoughts, comments, suggestions, especially on that front facade.
Because it involved a roof, I did not tell him he had to stop. I told him he would be proceeding at his own risk.
Any comments from the board? Any comments?
Well, it's kind of amazing how we all look at buildings and assume we know what they always look like, and when you go through the documents, you really see that they're like changing clothes. They have a closet full of facades that they put on.
So the owner is planning on doing additional work to the building, and we'll of course bring that as a proper submission next time.
John, is your new brick in the plane of the existing projected brick that appears to be 4 or 8 inches in front of the brick pilaster behind it?
Yes, sir, that's the plan at least. Just keep it all in the same plane, straight up.
And that's just a running bond. Well, y'all have already taken the cap off, I guess. I mean, probably had some kind of cap on it previously, but.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So where's the water going? I know it's going to the back.
It's going to the back.
Then what happens?
He's collecting it and draining it out.
So he's got
outside
some
the
a storm sewer he can get to and get it out.
Yes, sir, behind the building. That's right. So any suggestions, if the front parapet would be allowed, any suggestions on detailing or panels or just a flat facade?
Is this ventilated cornice original?
No, it is not.
Okay.
It's original. It was
I mean,
similar in 1950s,
Okay.
and then the cornice was replaced in the 1992 renovation.
Okay.
Like it had something. It was, like it had something, but it's.
I'd say the simpler the better for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's got enough ornamentation on the front of the building. It's a handsome little building. But then again, I thought 4 over 4 windows were okay, so what do I know?
Okay.
Well, I do agree with David. This time I think, you don't want it too busy and nice, clean, simple look.
Any further comments? Any further comments?
It looks like to me that, to me, this seems to be in the tradition of the traditional building types that this building represents. It's not like the 50s, but the decision has already been made that it's not going to look like the 50s. So I think it's consistent with what you already see here on this, in the history of this. Certainly looks better than the giant picture window on the second floor.
So I'm assuming, I guess we have no issues with that at all. Okay.
Let me ask a question. Is the, you see the wood framing between, in the recess between the building you're talking about and the next building. Are they part of the same building?
So I actually own the building to the left and that alleyway between the two. And those are all platted as one building, and they're separate from this one we're looking at today.
So that